All right, so get this right. Just imagine one AI tool, just one, that could handle any, and I mean ANY, image-related task that you throw at it.
Hmm.
Not just talking like, the basic stuff here,
Yeah.
but the whole shebang, the whole kit and caboodle.
Right, right.
That's the ambitious goal of OmniGen, which is what we're diving deep into today.
Okay.
And we've got our hands on, guess what? Their research paper.
Oh, wow.
Even some sneak peek images.
No way.
Yeah. Let me tell you, things are about to get really interesting.
I can't wait.
So I've had a look at this paper.
Yeah.
And I think what's immediately impressive is how this thing is designed.
Okay, yeah.
Because you see, most of the AI image tools that we use at the moment,
Right.
they're hyper specialized, right? They're
Yeah.
kind of like those single-use kitchen gadgets, great for one job.
Yeah.
But the rest of the time, gathering dust, OmniGen wants to be that, that really great kitchen processor
Yeah.
that can handle loads of different stuff
Uh-huh.
with power to spare.
That's a great analogy.
And they're not just aiming to be a jack of all trades.
Right.
The paper claims that OmniGen is already going, toe-to-toe with the leading AI models when it comes to text-to-image generation.
Okay.
But get this, all while being significantly smaller in size.
Oh, wow.
Now, I don't know about you, but that size difference, to me at least, seems like kind of a big deal.
It is. And, you're right to hone in on that because a smaller model basically means it's more efficient.
Okay.
It needs less computing power to actually run.
Right.
And it has the potential to be way more accessible to everyday users.
Right.
Like, you wouldn't need a supercomputer in your basement
Yeah.
just to run a really powerful AI image tool.
That's massive, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
it's like no more AI exclusivity club.
Right.
Everyone's invited to the image generation party.
I love it.
And get this, and I'm directly quoting from the paper here.
Okay.
They say, you won't need to be a coding whiz to use it.
Oh, wow.
Plain, everyday language is all it takes to command this thing.
Interesting.
They even give an example of, asking it to find a sink in an image.
Okay. Right.
And then telling it to, and I quote, remove the thing that holds water.
I love that example, and I think it's a great one to pick out
Yeah.
because it really highlights how OmniGen isn't just mimicking patterns,
Yeah.
which a lot of AI models do.
Yeah.
It's starting to demonstrate a deeper understanding of the relationship between objects
Yeah.
and their properties,
Okay.
which I think is really cool.
So it's like AI is finally learning to see and interpret the world a bit more like we do.
Right.
It's not just spitting out pixels
Yeah,
based on algorithms.
totally.
And actually, speaking of which,
Yeah.
OmniGen's bag of tricks goes way beyond just generating images from we're talking image editing with instructions, right? Creating images based on descriptions pulled from multiple sources.
Wow.
It really is like the Swiss Army knife of AI image tools.
It sounds incredible. Like the possibilities seem almost endless.
Endless.
Yeah.
But this is what I want to know.
Okay.
Let's get down to brass tacks. Does it actually live up to the hype?
That's the question, isn't it?
Because
Wow.
the paper mentions benchmark comparisons.
Right.
And I'll be honest with you, that, to me at least, that sounds a bit like technical jargon.
Yeah, no, I get you. I get you.
Like, what does it even mean?
So benchmark comparisons, right?
Yeah.
They're just standardized tests for these AI models.
Okay.
So it's a way to compare
Apples to apples.
exactly apples to apples.
Okay.
And when they put OmniGen through its paces, the results were actually really impressive.
Oh, okay. So it's not just some scrappy underdog then.
Right.
It can actually,
Yeah.
hang with the big leagues when it comes to these AI image tools.
Yeah, absolutely.
Color me impressed. But, hold on a second.
Okay.
Because the paper takes a turn.
Okay. Towards the mind-blowing with this whole emerging capabilities section.
Right.
It sounds like OmniGen started doing things that even its creators didn't expect.
Yeah. So that's the part that really made me sit up and pay attention, actually, emerging capabilities, right?
Yeah.
It refers to those unexpected, almost eerie moments where AI demonstrates these abilities that weren't explicitly programmed, like stumbling upon hidden talents that the AI developed kind of on its own, which I think is super, super interesting.
Okay, now you've got me hooked.
Yeah.
What kind of hidden talents are we talking about here?
Right. So
Spill the AI tea.
for one, right, it showed this real knack for combining tasks.
Okay.
In a way that it hadn't been specifically trained to do.
Right.
So remember those complex instructions we discussed earlier?
Yeah. It turns out you don't even need to spell them out step by step for OmniGen.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
It can actually figure out like multi-step processes from a single, more general instruction.
Wow.
Which is amazing.
So it's like it's understanding the intent
Right.
behind the request, right?
Yeah.
It's not just understanding like the literal words.
Exactly.
Now, wasn't there something in the paper about it learning from just one example?
Yes.
Like it was like, some kind of visual prodigy.
Yeah, absolutely. So the paper called this one-shot learning, right?
Right.
And that's where things get really, really interesting.
Okay.
So, like, imagine this.
Yeah.
Imagine showing a human child a picture of a completely new object.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And saying, this is a glump. A child might be able to then go on and identify other glumps.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Based on that single example.
Right.
OmniGen kind of demonstrated a very similar ability.
Okay.
Like learning these new concepts from just one image or just one instruction, which I think is amazing.
Okay, so that sends chills down my spine.
Right.
Because it feels like we're moving beyond the realm of simple programming here.
Yeah.
And into something that looks a lot like, dare I say it, intelligence.
Well, yeah, I mean, that is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And the researchers actually even touch upon this concept of general intelligence in this context.
Right.
And they're saying that obviously traditional AI excels at specific tasks, which is what we kind of know. General intelligence implies a much more flexible, adaptable form of learning that can be applied across, a whole load of different domains. And I think that's what we're starting to see here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's bring it back down to earth for a second.
Okay.
What does this general intelligence actually look like in practice?
Okay, sure.
Is OmniGen writing poetry in its spare time or something?
Not quite yet, but the way it demonstrates what's called knowledge transfer is pretty remarkable.
Okay, so what do you mean by knowledge transfer?
Okay, so essentially, it seems like learning one task.
Right.
So say, for example, identifying different types of birds in images
Yeah.
might actually then make it better at other tasks.
Okay.
Like, for example, generating realistic images of birds it's never even seen before.
Wow.
Which is amazing because it's not just, memorizing a gigantic database of pictures of birds.
Right.
It's actually developing a deeper understanding of what makes a bird a bird.
That's kind of like wild when you think about it.
It is pretty wild.
But also potentially like a massive game changer.
Or massive. I mean, just
Yeah.
imagine, right?
Yeah.
An AI that can learn and adapt
Yeah.
as quickly and efficiently as a human child.
Right.
Constantly, like, expanding this repertoire of skills and knowledge.
Right.
The possibilities are pretty mind-boggling, to say the least.
Mind-boggling, for sure.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, I'm also getting a few, like, nervous butterflies in my stomach thinking about the potential downsides here.
Okay, yeah.
Because if this thing keeps evolving at this pace,
Yeah.
what does that mean for, artists, designers, anyone who works with images?
Yeah.
Are we all headed for early retirement?
That's the big question, right?
It is a big question.
And it's one that we can't really shy away from.
No.
Because on the one hand,
Yeah.
AI, like this, like OmniGen, could be an incredible creative partner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Helping artists, helping designers
Yeah.
push the boundaries of their craft in ways that they literally could not achieve alone, which is amazing.
I can totally see that.
Yeah.
Like, imagine being able to brainstorm ideas within AI, having it generate variations on a theme, or even just taking care of those tedious tasks like color correction or background removal.
Absolutely, yeah.
That would free up artists to really focus on, the bigger picture, the truly creative aspects of their work.
It's like having a tireless assistant, who can handle all of that technical heavy lifting, while you, the artist, get to really steer the ship of creativity.
Right.
But, of course, we can't ignore the valid concerns that come with this kind of powerful technology.
Yeah, the elephant in the room here is definitely the potential impact on jobs, right? Like, if AI can now generate images, edit them, even understand, like, complex instructions like we were talking about, what does that mean for the people who currently specialize in those skills?
Well, it's a conversation that, like you say, it's the elephant in the room, and it's something that we really need to be having sooner rather than later, I think.
Yeah.
And I think as well as just job displacement. We need to be thinking about ensuring equitable access to this kind of technology.
Right.
If these AI image tools become the go-to for these creative industries, we need to make sure that they are accessible to everybody.
Absolutely.
Not just a select few.
Yeah, we don't want to end up with like an even bigger creativity gap.
Exactly.
Where only those with resources can, harness the power of AI.
Totally.
But, I mean, beyond the economic implications, there's broader societal ones to consider as well, right?
Of course.
I mean, if we're talking about AI that can generate like hyper-realistic images and even understand the meaning behind those images, the potential for misuse is,
huge.
Sort of significant.
Massively significant, yeah.
Right. It's like we're stepping into this whole new world of possibilities.
Yeah.
Which is both exciting, but also potentially dangerous, right?
Okay.
And it feels like things are moving at warp speed in this area.
Yeah.
It's easy to get swept up in like the wow factor of all of this.
Totally.
But I think we really need to be having these critical conversations alongside, the technological advancements.
100%.
So, I mean, where does this leave us?
Okay.
We've explored the incredible capabilities of OmniGen.
Yeah.
The potential benefits, definitely.
Of course.
But also some of those kind of, valid concerns.
Yep.
What's the takeaway message here for our listeners? The people who are about to encounter, let's be honest, AI-generated images more and more in their everyday lives.
Yeah, totally. And I think to boil it down, I think the most important thing is to be aware, right?
Okay.
Don't just passively consume this AI-generated content. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, think critically about it. Ask yourself, who created this image?
Yeah.
What was their intention?
Right.
How does it make me feel?
Right.
All of those things, I think, are really, really important.
So it's like with any new technology, we need to approach it with a healthy dose of curiosity, but also, a critical eye as well.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to ask questions, challenge assumptions.
Please do.
And engage in those thoughtful conversations about the role of AI in our lives. Because
100%.
The future of AI, especially when it comes to something as powerful as image generation, it's not predetermined.
No.
It's being shaped right now by researchers, by developers, and even by users like you listening.
Totally.
Your choices matter.
They do.
How you choose to use AI, how you choose to engage with it, how you choose to advocate for its responsible development.
100%.
All of that plays a role in shaping the future.
Absolutely.
So, to our listeners, I'll leave you with this.
Okay.
Stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay engaged. Because the world of AI image generation, if OmniGen is anything to go by, is only going to get more fascinating.
For sure.
And definitely a lot more complex from here on out. That's a wrap for another deep dive.
Awesome.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those creative sparks flying.